Listen, before you make another Walmart run this July, there are 10 items you need on your list, because I just walked out of that store with a receipt in my hand and I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I pulled my last 3 receipts, walked the aisles again yesterday, and cross-checked the shelf tags against what I paid back in April. And here's the thing. You're either about to save real money this month, or you're about to overpay for the same exact product 2 aisles over, and Walmart isn't going to tell you which. The first one on this list? Nobody's talking about it. Let me show you. Okay, so, great value. I know, I know. You've walked past it 1,000 times, but listen to what I just saw, because this is the part that stopped me. I was standing in aisle 6 with a bag of great value long grain rice in one hand and a name brand bag in the other, and I flipped both of them over to compare. Same weight, same origin. And the price gap between them? It's wider today than it was in April, not by pennies, by dollars per bag. And when I checked the shelf tag on the name brand rice, you could still see the old price sticker underneath the new one. That little strip of paper they didn't fully scrape off. Old price on the bottom, new price on top, and great value? Didn't move? Didn't budge? Same shelf, same price, holding the line. You ever notice that? How you'll walk past the same tag 10 weeks in a row and never really look at it? That's the thing. They know we don't look. Here's how they actually do it. Walmart owns great value. They set the price. They set the margin. They decide when it moves and when it doesn't. And in every earnings call I've listened to over the last year or so, the executives keep coming back to the same ideas, and I'm paraphrasing here: private label penetration, price leadership, value for the shopper. That's the corporate frame. Translated for you and me, at the shelf, it means they want you buying the Walmart-owned brand because they make more per unit that way, and they can hold the price steady while name brand suppliers keep raising theirs. Which sounds bad, right? Except it's actually working in our favor on the pantry basics. So on your next Walmart run, rice, oats, canned beans, dry pasta, flour, sugar, great value, 4 to 6 weeks of it. Grab it now, before the fall reset, because I've been watching those tags, and once we hit October, they start moving. And once you see that gap, you can't unsee it. Watch this. Item 2, Equate. This is the one that made me feel a little dumb, honestly, because I've been paying for the name brand for years. I was in the pharmacy section a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed the end cap had changed. Used to be 5, 6 brands of ibuprofen up there on the big names, all fighting for eye level. Now? 2 name brands and a whole column of Equate, and I stood there and I compared the boxes. Same active ingredient, same milligrams, same dosage form. The Equate box was about a third of the price. I want you to do this next time you're at Walmart. Pick up the name brand ibuprofen, flip it over, read the active ingredient, then walk 2 feet to your left and pick up the Equate. Read that active ingredient. It's the same molecule, same dose. And the FDA regulates over-the-counter drugs by that active ingredient. They don't care whose logo is on the box. But here's the part that got me. It's not just the price, it's where they moved it on the shelf. They pushed Equate up to eye level in that end cap because they want you seeing it first. And that tells me the corporate margin on Equate is better for them than the margin on the name brand, which means we win too, on this one. Ibuprofen, allergy meds, multivitamins, cold medicine. Flip the box, check the MG for MEC, buy the Equate. You'll save real money this month. Now, item 3. This one is my favorite one on the list because it hasn't moved. And in July of 2026, an item that hasn't moved is a miracle. The rotisserie chicken, still sitting there at $4.98. I checked the sticker 3 times because I thought it had to have changed. It hasn't. Do you know how much grocery inflation has hit us since 2022? Do you know what a whole roasted chicken should cost if it were priced honestly against every other protein in the store? It's not $4.98. That chicken is a loss leader. Walmart loses money on it, or breaks even, because they want you walking past everything else on the way to grab it. It's bait. But it's bait that works for us if we know what we're doing. Here's what you do. Grab the rotisserie. Grab a bakery loaf from the in-store bakery. Those loaves are undercutting the name brand bread aisle by 30 to 40%, and I've been comparing receipts. That's dinner tonight. Sandwiches tomorrow, broth from the carcass Sunday. 2 meals, maybe 3 off a $5 bird. And you walk past 20 aisles of markup to get to it, which is exactly what they wanted. but you didn't buy any of it, which is exactly what they didn't want. You see how this works? Okay. Item 4. On. That's the Walmart-owned electronics brand, the little ON logo, lowercase with the period. HDMI cables, phone chargers, USB-C wall bricks, the streaming stick. I was in the electronics section last week looking for a replacement HDMI cable because mine finally gave out, and I picked up the ON 6-foot cable. Then I picked up the name brand equivalent right next to it. Same spec sheet, same 4K rating, same length. The name brand was almost 4 times the price. 4 times. For a cable. And I stood there thinking about every HDMI cable I've ever bought in my life, and I got a little bit angry. We've been overpaying for a cable. That's what I mean when I say we're being played. It's not that the expensive one is better. It's that the expensive one is priced for people who don't stop and check. This is where the pattern starts to click. Because great value equate on. Those aren't 3 separate wins. That's one corporate strategy showing up on your receipt 3 times. I pulled the last earnings call, and it's the same message over and over, and I'm paraphrasing here. Grow the private label, hold the price, drive the traffic. This isn't about us. This is about their margin. And once you see that, every aisle looks different. On your next Walmart run, look for the Walmart-owned brand first. Name brand second. That's the flip. That's the whole game. Item 5. Produce. Market side. That's the Walmart produce brand. Bananas holding at about 58 cents a pound. Bagged salad kits undercutting the regional grocery chains by a full $1 per bag. Avocados moving cheaper than the specialty stores. I pulled a receipt from a regional chain and I put it next to my Walmart receipt from the same week, and the produce line items weren't close. Walmart won every single one. But produce is bait too. It's the same play as the rotisserie chicken. They price the produce aggressive because it gets you in the door, and once you're in the door, they hope you'll wander into the middle aisles where the markup lives. So here's what we do. We anchor the grocery run around the perimeter. Produce, rotisserie, bakery loaf, dairy basics. We skip the middle. We're in and out. But wait until you see what they're doing 2 aisles over. Because it's not just food. Item 6. Auto care. Walmart Auto Care. I know. You forgot this was even a thing. So did I, honestly, until I went to price a set of tires last month and I remembered to check them. And the installation pricing on their service board? Still meaningfully below the independent shops I called. Basic oil change, tire mount and balance, rotation. The tire selection actually expanded this year. They added a couple of the mid-tier brands most people ask for. If you're due for tires or you're due for an oil change, you should be looking at that service board before you book anywhere else. That's 6 items on your list so far: rice, oats, and pantry basics. Equate over-the-counter, rotisserie and bakery bread. On, electronics, market side produce, auto care, 6 down, 4 to go. Which brings me to the aisle nobody talks about. And I need you to stay with me for this next one, because chapters 7 through 10 are the ones that made me sit down and pull my last year of receipts. That's where I saw what Walmart is actually doing to us, and what they're doing for us, and how to tell the difference. Stay with me. Item 7. This one is the one that made me a little quiet when I figured it out, because I've been paying full price on a prescription for about 2 years without checking. Walmart's $4 generic list. It's still active in 2026. It quietly expanded again, and most shoppers, have no idea which of their prescriptions are on it. Here's how it works. Walmart maintains a list of common generic medications that they'll fill at $4 for a 30-day supply, or $10 for a 90-day supply. Blood pressure meds, cholesterol meds, certain antibiotics, some antidepressants, some diabetes medications, common maintenance drugs that millions of people take every single day. And I want you to think about that for a second. Because if you're on a maintenance medication and you're paying $20, $30, $40 a month at another pharmacy, and that same drug is on the $4 list, you've been overpaying by hundreds of dollars a year. Not being dramatic, just doing the math. Here's what you do this week. Call the Walmart pharmacy, read them your prescription list, ask them one by one which of those is on the $4 or $10 program. Whatever qualifies, transfer it. That's a phone call. That's 15 minutes. And that could be a couple $100 back in your budget by the end of the year. And this is where the corporate move gets interesting, because Walmart's been running that $4 list since 2006, 20 years, 2 decades of the same play. And I pulled the earnings framing on it and, I'm paraphrasing here, pharmacy is a traffic driver. Same logic as the rotisserie chicken. Same logic as the bananas. Get you in the door for the cheap thing, hope you spend on the way out. Which, fine. Play the game. Just play it on our side of the register. Item 8. And this one's the one that made me a little angry, honestly. Parents' Choice. That's the Walmart-owned baby brand. Formula, diapers, wipes. And I know for a lot of new parents, this is the one where the guilt hits hardest, where you feel like the expensive box has to be better because it's a baby, and how could you cheap out on a baby? Here's what I want you to know. Infant formula in the United States is regulated by the FDA. There is a federal nutritional standard that every commercial infant formula sold in this country has to meet. That's real. That's public. That's on the FDA website right now. And Parents' Choice formula meets that same standard. Same standard. Dramatically cheaper. And the price gap on the diapers widened this year. I pulled the receipt comparison, and the Parents' Choice diapers were running noticeably below the name brand ounce for ounce, size for size, count for count. We've been guilted into the expensive box. That's the honest read on it. And nobody at the register is going to walk over and tell you the cheaper box meets the same regulation. That's not their job. It's ours. So, one SKU. Try one SKU this month. The wipes or the diapers in your kid's current size, or the formula if your pediatrician signs off. Track the savings. If it works, keep going. And this next one is the one that really made me angry because it's the shelf itself. But first, let me widen this out for a second, because I want you to see what's really happening. I've been listening to the Walmart earnings calls, and the thing that keeps coming up over and over, and I'm paraphrasing here, is price leadership and private label mix. That's the whole 2026 posture. Loss leader traffic drivers on the perimeter, private label margin in the middle. Every single one of these 10 items on our list, every single one, is on the list for a reason. And it's not our reason, it's theirs. They said it out loud, on the calls, in the filings. It's just that we weren't listening, which means we've got a choice. We either shop the list they built for their margin and let it work for us, or we shop the aisles they built for the markup and hand it right back. And once you see that framing, you can't unsee it either. Every aisle becomes a question. Who is this priced for? Me or them? Okay, item 9. Household cleaning. And this is where I got a little worked up in the store because I noticed something on the shelf that I hadn't noticed before. Great value laundry detergent, great value dish soap, great value paper towels, great value toilet paper. Same performance tier as the name brands, 40 to 50% less on the ounce for ounce math. I've been switching pieces of my household over for a while and my receipts prove it out. But here's what got me: the shelf placement. I was in the cleaning aisle last week and I looked up and I looked down. And at eye level, name brand. Big bottles, bright colors, right where your hand naturally goes when you walk up. Great value? Down at waist level. Some of it even lower. And that is not an accident. That is a merchandising decision. Somebody in an office decided the cheap one goes on the bottom shelf because they know most people grab what's at eye level and keep walking. They moved the cheap one to the bottom shelf on purpose. That's the whole play. And once I saw it everywhere. Cleaning aisle, paper goods, snack aisle, cereal. Look up, look down. The stuff that makes them more margin is at eye level. The stuff that saves us the most is 1 or 2 shelves down. So here's the rule for your next trip. Always check the bottom shelf first. Always. Before your hand grabs anything at eye level, drop your eyes. See what's down there. 9 times out of 10, that's the one you actually want. And I saved the biggest one for last. Item 10. And remember what I told you at the start, the one nobody's talking about, the one I almost walked right past? Here it is. And this one is different because it's not a product, it's a mechanic. It's the thing that ties all 9 of the other items together. Walmart Plus, the membership, the gas discount, the in-store scan and go, the free grocery delivery over a certain threshold, the free shipping with no minimum, that whole bundle. Now, I know, because I resisted this one for a long time. Another subscription? Another monthly fee? Another thing on the card? I get it. But I want you to actually do the math with me for a second, because this is the beat that changes the receipt. The gas discount at the Walmart fuel stations and the Murphy stations attached to a lot of the stores. That's real cents per gallon off every fill-up. If you're filling up 2, 3, 4 times a month, run the numbers on your own tank. That alone is a chunk of the membership. The free grocery delivery over the threshold. For anybody who's ever spent 45 minutes in a Walmart on a Saturday just to grab bananas and rotisserie chicken and end up with a full cart, that delivery is time back. And time is money. Anybody who tells you it isn't hasn't priced their own hour lately. The scan and go in the store. You scan as you shop, you pay in the app, you skip the checkout line, which, again, time back. Add up the gas savings, the delivery threshold, the shipping, the scan and go, compare it to the monthly fee, then decide. Not because I told you to, because the math told you to. That's the payoff. That's the 10th item. That's the one that unlocks the other 9, because when you're combining the Walmart Plus gas discount with a cart full of great value pantry basics, Equate over-the-counter, a rotisserie chicken, market-side produce, on, electronics, Parents' Choice diapers, $4 generics, bottom-shelf cleaning supplies, and free delivery. That's not a shopping trip anymore. That's a system. 10 items. Great value staples, Equate, rotisserie and bakery bread, on, market-side produce, auto care, $4 generics, Parents' Choice, great value household cleaning, Walmart Plus. That's the list. And here's the thing. I've been watching a lot of retail move in the wrong direction lately. Prices creeping, packages shrinking, stores closing, Family Dollar shutting down whole blocks of locations in some markets. That's public, that's in their press releases. Dollar Tree pushing the 1.25 price point and then the multi-price format. Everything getting a little more expensive, a little more confusing, a little more designed to make us look away. But this list? This is the corner of the store where the math still works in our favor. Not because Walmart's on our side. They're not. They're on their own side. And that's fine. That's how corporations work. This list works for us because their side and our side happen to overlap on these 10 specific items. That's the window. And I've been telling you the window is closing on at least 3 of them by fall, which is why we're doing this in July. So this week, pull your last Walmart receipt. Right now, if you can find it. Look at it. How many of these 10 are already on there? And which one are you adding this week? Because you're the shopper who reads the tag now. You're the shopper who flips the box, checks the ounces, compares the SKU, looks at the bottom shelf before the top one, calls the pharmacy, does the math on the membership. You're not the shopper they built the eye-level shelf for. Not anymore. Tell me in the comments. I actually read them. Which one of these 10 you didn't know about and which one you're grabbing on your next run. I want to see it. And next time, I'm going to show you the 10 things you should stop buying at Walmart in July. Because some of the aisles I walked past this week, some of the stuff sitting at eye level with the bright packaging and the loud stickers, we need to have a whole different conversation about those. Stay with me.